Hello, it's Beach Cams Man, and we are back today with Jack Brooks from Bam Nuttall, and he has very kindly offered to give us a guided tour and show us what stage we're at with phase 2 of the new Dawlish seawall.
So yeah, we're on panel 84 out of 143 at the moment. We're just leaving the spring tide window, coming back into Neeps. We're not working over the weekend, giving the lads a bit of a break off for bank holiday, really.
Yeah.
And also to give the community a bit of a break from us, really, more than anything. So yeah, the last facing panels for this spring tide working window went in on last night's shift, and like I say, we're up to 84, so we're about 60% complete in terms of the total now.
Okay, great.
We've continued with the backfill to the rear of the facing panels in the neat tides like we were doing the last time, and at the moment we've installed 4,500 metres cube of concrete.
Wow.
That's in situ concrete alone. There's about another 800 cube of concrete which is installed, which is precast, which is the facing panels. So the facing panels, they're due to continue till around about the end of June, start of July.
Yeah.
All of the facing panels will be in then, and then we'll commence with the recurves. So the recurves are coming over from Ireland towards the middle of the month in June.
Okay.
And we'll start doing all the prep works.
And that's the bit that goes on top, isn't it?
Yeah, the wave return unit on the top. So the rig you can see here was mobilised last night down to the beach as well. That's the rig that we're going to be using for the piling at Coast Guard's for the staired access down to the beach down at Coast Guard's breakwater.
This arrived today, didn't it?
Yeah, so it arrived last night,
okay.
And then they transported it down onto the beach and brought the mast down because we had to take the mast off to get it underneath the underpass.
Yeah.
And they're reassembling it now, ready to start the piling work on Tuesday.
Okay. What are those large holes for in the side of the seawall there?
So there's a hole roughly every 20 metres apart from that section, which is where the new footbridge is going, behind that section of the panels. But there's a hole roughly every 20 metres, every 10 panels. And what that's for is for the track drainage. So, track drainage and the wall drainage. So track drainage and the wall drainage
right, I'm with you.
Feed into the catch pits which are embedded in the concrete to the rear.
Yeah.
And then if the track if any kind of residual waves were to go over the wall or any kind of overspray went onto the wall, it'd allow water to escape through the system. So you can also see the weep holes which are in the bottom of the facing panel. The weep holes allow any residual water retained in the structure to escape through it. So what we've done on the back of the existing wall, or on top of the existing wall plot prior to us placing any concrete, we've installed what's known as ABG matting, and what that is, a permeable membrane which allows water to move through between the existing structure and the new structure.
Okay.
And then the drainage system then is connected to the weep holes on the front of the panel, so it just allows any water that's still within the structure to escape.
Okay, great.
And
it's very impressive. These panels seem more textured than the ones on phase 1. Is that these are larger, aren't they? Is that right?
They're larger in length. It's the same form line they use as marine parade. The only difference with this is pure. The only reason why it looks more textured at the moment is because you've come down in the works rather than after the works.
Right. Okay.
So the sea's not done its work yet.
Yeah.
So,
fresh.
Yeah. So they are fresh. I mean, you tend to get a lot of latents, which is produced in the mould when you strike it, and then once the seas give it a few kind of cycles or a bit of a bashing during the winter, it does take a bit of the latents off the top, so you do lose a bit of the imprint.
Yeah.
Not massively. It's not that aggressive, to be honest.
Okay.
So today we're just really getting wrapped up, ready for the bank holiday. We're getting all the piling kit over to the refuge.
Yeah.
We're taking out all of the shutters, and we're taking the gangway, which is on the back of the piles where we've been installing the piles from, off the back of the piles. So if there is any bad weather over the weekend, weather can change.
Yeah.
That the gangway doesn't get damaged.
Okay.
Which is what the guys are just setting up for now. So you've got the 70-ton crane, which is due to go onto the pipe.
That's this orange one, isn't it?
The orange one, yeah. So that's due to go onto the crane platform in a moment, which the 70-ton excavator's just setting up for him. So I'll have a little bit of a walk over and you can see the crane platform being set up if you like.
Yeah, great. Yeah, you just don't get the size of these machines until you stood next to them. I mean, it's all well and good watching them on camera and stuff, but they are huge, intimidatingly huge.
Yeah, especially that one.
Yeah.
That's an intimidating one, and it moves quick as well.
Yeah, well, the size of the bucket on that's phenomenal. Wow.
So with every machine that we have on site, we have what's called a banksman with him, which is the guy with the deck comms. So he's in radio contact with the machine operator at all times, and he controls the movements of that machine.
Yeah,
he doesn't move until he tells him to move, essentially.
Right. Makes sense. How much does that bucket hold?
That holds about 2.5 metre cube.
Right.
3 metre cube.
Wow.
Yeah. So where the other operator stood in the background there, that's the crane platform. So
yeah.
As part of our temporary works to allow the crane to work on the beach, any time that crane is lifting, just because of stability concerns, we install steel mats. So the steel mats are about 300 mm in thickness.
Yeah.
And then once the mats are put round, we secure the mats in place with sand around the outside to stop them moving or rotating as the crane tracks on.
Yeah.
And then the crane comes over, sits himself on the mats, and he can do the lifting from that then.
Okay.
So every time that we install facing panels, or every time we come onto the beach, we have to install the mats and then remove them at the end of each shift as well. Fly, just come past. Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Yeah, that is humongous. Thank you, guys.
Hi, mate. How's it going?
So this is the
crane platform.
Crane platform that Jack was talking about. So is there more panels going on today, or
no? Because if we put the panels on, the gangway has to stay on.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah. So fair enough.
We've got to take it off, ready for the weekend now. So what the guys are doing is stripping out pour 3. I mean pour 3, which is where the panel sits into that recess or trough that we're forming.
Yeah.
We're around about 85% complete with that now, and that should be due to finish in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. Serious bit of pumping. Right, you have to run and jump here.
So there's a section missed out there because it's a change in direction. So the guys are basically, rather than form the change of direction with 4 shutters, they leave a gap and then drop it that section in after.
Right. Okay.
So it's not just a bit missed out.
Yeah.
So these guys are just stripping out the shutters from yesterday's pour.
Yeah.
They wash all the sand from out the back and then they pull the shutters out then. What we class as striking the shutters. And then in about an hour's time, the piling rig and all the piling equipment's going to start coming over to the refuge area now.
Yeah.
So the refuge area is a little bit different from when you came last time. I'll show you why in a second.
Wow, it's just amazing the progress you guys have made.
In a month, really. Oh.
Yeah.
It's the concrete backfill's the biggest area of progress, really.
Uh-huh. Ooh.
Yeah,
Quicksand.
Disappear there. So we put the containers on the return here to retain material for our piling platform.
Yeah.
So the idea of them is to stop any sand or mitigate as much sand washing out as possible. So
oh wow, there's
2
containers under here. Yeah.
Two containers that were stood on, strangely, filled with sand. And then inside, up on this platform then, is where we're going to be starting the piling on Tuesday. So there's 3 lines of piles we're installing.
Yeah.
One is the outside for the stair units. One is the inside to maintain the promenade as you come along. And then the last line is up somewhere over there.
Right.
And that's for the high level promenade to connect this phase into the
ramp,
to the higher level over there.
Yeah.
You'll notice as well, we've also started the saw cutting of this section of wall. So you can see the line there.
Oh yeah.
Where we've cut
so
along.
that top bit's going to come off, is it?
Yeah, that top bit comes off, and then we have a trackside wall unit on that side, just to get us to the right height requirements.
So will that be done overnight when less railway traffic?
Yes, we do that in possessions on a Saturday night.
Okay.
So just removing the gangway, we can go grab that if you want.
Wow, such a difference here. Yeah, because this was still in place, or the outer walls were still in place, the boathouse last time we were here.
I think there was this section left on the return, wasn't there?
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, mate. So another thing which is new since you were here last, I'll show you this one. Is see these big sections of cores here?
Yeah.
That's been took out of the railway wall. So what we're doing here is coring through, and any residual water which goes over the track, the remainder of the core gets done. So these are done in possession, and we've got the last little section to go through into track over the weekend. And what the idea of them is that any residual water which does go over onto the track
Comes now. Difficult. The second. Come on, you. Hey. Come on. Out. Right, put that in before. They're persistent, aren't they? You'd have thought after all this time they'd have found somewhere else, but
Well, he nearly did then.
yeah.
So what that does is collect any residual water which goes over onto track and brings it back through into the drainage system,
Yeah.
and then it goes out through the big outfalls in the facing panels.
Amazing.
So in sections, in some storm events, these walls where the railway supported in between the platforms have actually acted as more of like a support for a canal.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it.
I've filmed it with a HST coming through, and it looked like it's just coming through water. It looked like a boat. It's been bizarre.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
obviously all these old drains are blocked up over the years, and yeah, it looks surreal.
So that will prevent that from happening.
Yeah, they're certainly a lot bigger diameter than the old drainage.
So the old drainage, which is in the wall here, we do pick up on all of the old drainage pipes in the drainage network as well.
Right.
So there's 2 kind of drainage systems to
Yeah.
the track then, and we're going to clean them all out prior to us leaving as well. So we're just getting ready to remove the pigeons and the gangway.
Yeah.
Get everything off there, ready for the weekend. Like I say, the guys installed the last 3 facing panels on this for the spring tide
yeah,
window.
so that's where the panels end there.
You can see down the bottom where we're progressing up with the different stages once the facing panels been poured. So the step that you can see down there is what we class as stage 4 and 5. Then you've got stage 6, stage 7 up above, stage 8, and then stage 8A.
Oh wow, it's actually fully, arisen above the footpath, the old footpath now.
Yeah, so we're a lot wider than the existing footpath.
Oh, amazing.
Might get a bit wet here.
That's all right.
I'll go that side and protect the camera.
I think it's safer actually to go. All right, thank you, yeah. Cheers. Wow, so this is the old footpath we used to walk under. You can see where it's risen there. That's such a huge difference.
So just in front of this platform here is where the new trackside wall is going to go.
Yeah.
And then obviously the opposite side then is enclosed by the recurve unit, and there is a small fencing to go on top of the recurve unit as well.
Okay.
Slightly different to marine
So
parade.
the height of the footpath will be the top of these slabs now, is it? Or a bit?
Height of the footpath will be approximately about 800 mil to a metre above the top of the panel.
Right. Okay.
So somewhere around about the top of that timber boarding that you can see on the edge of the platform.
So the same
there.
height as the platform, pretty much.
Yeah, and then the idea is when we come back to do the platform works, we strip out all of the timber, we raise the platform levels to reduce stepping distances as you access on and off the train.
Yeah.
Which is going to be done in abnormal blockades, and then all the platform goes, and this section is infilled then, and it's brought up to the new platform level, proposed platform level.
Wow.
So this section here is done. All of this is the mass infill concrete, which we do use a low carbon P350 mix.
Yeah.
So we are going to do a little bit of a press release on it towards the back end of next week about this concrete that we've been using, because it is significantly better for the environment than your standard C3240 concrete.
Yeah.
Obviously concrete is required because of the design life requirements for this new section of wall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can use older materials such as stone and timber, but you don't get the same design life out of it.
No.
Which is all part of the resilience.
It's got to
really.
be 100 years, I believe, isn't it? It's designed for, at least.
Yeah. So once we get to this stage here, what we're stood on, we class this as stage 8. The facing panel tyres, which were only temporary to support the facing panel in its temporary position, can be removed. And the idea of that then is when we install the recurve unit, the recurve unit is dowelled down into the piles. So the recurve unit is connected into each pile with 2 bars driven into the piles.
Okay.
And then they're grouted up together. And then each recurve unit is cast into a slab of 5 other recurve units. So you cast 5 units together.
Wow. I don't know how you get it all to match up.
Yeah. So the recurve unit actually mirrors the same position as the facing panel.
Yeah.
And then you have a joint every 10 metres or every 5 units, which is to allow for movement in the concrete over its design life. So on top of the facing panel and on top of the piles is a big structural steel slab to build right the way across the length of the wall, which there's something stupid like I think 25,000 bars to install.
Wow. Serious numbers.
Yeah.
It's just so incredible to see.
So the black matting that you can see there is the ABG matting I was referring to earlier.
Yeah.
So on the back of it, it has an impermeable layer. Sorry, it has a permeable layer, not an impermeable. Otherwise, the water wouldn't drain through.
Yeah. Right, I'm with you. Yeah.
And what it does is allow the water to a path between the new wall and the old sea wall, right down through the existing profile, and then it allows the water to escape through the facing panels. So it's just to release any hydrostatic pressure build-up behind the back of the wall.
Impressive.
The scaffolding and the supports will be removed once the station platform works are started. So that's part of the next contract package, which we're hoping to get into contract with Network Rail for very shortly. The manhole rings, which you can see here, the 4 rings. What these are, it's a manhole which goes all the way down to the ground level or the existing profile of the rock.
Well, the last time we were here, I remember seeing, I believe, some holes in the ground that you mentioned there.
Yeah.
These.
So these go right down to rock level, and the idea of that is so we can pile through the manholes down into the rock when we come to install the lift shaft and install the footbridge foundation to support the new bridge which goes over the station.
And the timescale on the bridge, that's the end of the year, is it, this year?
That's not in this contract package. So the bridge, I would imagine, is around middle towards the back end of next year.
Next year?
Next year.
Oh, wow,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Quite a lot to do then, yeah.
Yeah, so with this package of work, which is classed as 2B or phase 2B, there is the Stilling Pond and the big communal area, and then there is section A, B and C covered in there, which is the Stilling Pond, in front of the station building, and then everything from where you can see the concrete caked, where you can see the casings caked in concrete down to the end. The idea of us installing them was when the wave walker was here, it was more efficient to have it install the piles rather than leave.
Absolutely.
So that, where we are stood now, is the end of our first phase of works.
Okay, and the start of the
start
old
of the-
seawall again.
The start of the next, and the start of the old seawall.
Wow. Impressive. Well, thank you very much, Jack,
No
for the
worries.
tour. And,
You're welcome, mate.
but yeah, remarkable work. Just so good how quickly moving on with it.
Yeah, I think since your last visit when you came down, we've installed, obviously, I think we were on panel 21 when you came down last time, so we installed the best part of 60 odd panels, about 3,800 cube of concrete. I think we were about 700 when you came down the last time.
Wow.
And like I say, we're just in the process of setting up ready for the pilot at Coast Guards now. That should last for around about 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Depending on how the drilling goes when we start getting into the rock.